bottom. Here comes Giuseppe. They make contact. They touch once, twice, 3 times.
Oh, trouble! Oh, no, Rocky into the wall. Big crash front straightaway. Huge crash coming into the tri-oval. No, Rocky up and into the air.
They're beating and banging. Burn on the bottom. Cosman up top.
I think. No! Breyer by 1/1000th of a second. Joseph, no! At the line, Thunhorse pulls the win out at the stripe.
Oh, he saves it. What's going to happen here?
Here comes the canvas. Get your foot there. He's got it. He's got it.
Canvas is going to win.
Core, presented by Simrat Market, welcomes you to the virtual Daytona International Speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida for the Ben Crazy's Craziest Craziness 200 from the new, smooth, paved Daytona International Speedway. Glad to have you with us here on FDF.GG for our coverage tonight. Race number 3 on the season. Glad to have you with us. Jacob Hitz, Caleb Hoffman, and Ryan Vargas trading the steering wheel for the headset tonight. He joins us in the broadcast booth since folks are away for the holidays. He can't get to a rig, so he joins us on air tonight.
Yeah, I'm cashing in my free labor tokens with Core tonight. So how are you guys doing? I'm excited to be here.
Glad to have you with us here, and well, we'll see how things go. We saw what happened 2 weeks ago. Vargas, of course, you were in that race, and we'll see how things go tonight. We have 32 drivers here for this race, and it looks like almost everybody made the grid. Justin Champagne going to start from the pit lane. Let's go through our starting grid and our pole award. Team Rick is the proud sponsor of the Rick Pole Award, given to what would be the lowest driver in the point standings at each Core League event. This week, it's Rawgator. He only made 1 start. It was 2 weeks ago at Daytona. He did not make the trip to Homestead last week. He is the lowest guy in points. Therefore, he starts out front. Since 2022, Team Rick has awarded less than $0 as part of Core's Pole Award program. The rest of your starting grid brought to you by Ed Soundhead. Davey Davis starts on the outside. Row number 2, Joey Stone and Rusty Walrus. Row number 3, Corey Vervink, Brayton Laster. Row number 4, Frozen Toes, 24, and Fly Guy. And rounding out the top 10, the 85, Cisco Scaramuza, and Case Kalabach. Caleb?
Looking back on to row 6, Cody H Gaming going to be starting alongside Arrow, going back in 13th. Jordan Worth starting alongside Gabe Wood. Starting from the 15th position tonight, Wes Graham with Ryan Burton, 17th. Jonathan Cadell, 18th. Dale Reynolds, 19th. Chase Cabry. And rounding out your top 20 is going to be Justin Malillo. Ryan?
Taking the roll from row number 11, David Schildhouse on your inside, followed by Travis Brown to his outside. Row number 12, you have Cosman Ionescu to the inside, and Harry Tiller from across the pond on the outside. Row number 13, David Cornelius, the chief core, as I guess you could say tonight, rounding out on the inside, and Blake McCandless to his outside. To the inside, we got Gary Owen going to the inside, Sean Butler to the outside. Row number 15, you have Ian Plash to the inside, Michael P. Frisch, look for him to be a big charger tonight. Then you have Justin Champagne, as we mentioned, starting on pit road to the inside of row 16, and Briar LePad to his outside. That is your starting lineup.
Perfect timing. Green flag is in the air, and we'll let the cars do the talking for the first lap. Rawgator leads them to turn 1. Rawgator will lead the opening lap here from Daytona. 1 lap in the books, 39 to go in race number 1. And the 14 leads them around on the inside. Davey Davis up on that outside line. They're 3 wide further back. Saw one car brush the wall. And that's the 27 Dale Reynolds. He keeps it going as the field's off turn 2. Rusty's in the wall. Everybody scatters to avoid, and they get by him just fine. He's now off the pace.
Yeah, I mean, just visually, you can tell how much faster these guys are going with the smooth surface here. Great job by the track workers to get this thing repaved in 2 weeks. The momentum is just, it's so much greater than at the bumpy version of Daytona. So you see these guys that are, Fly Guy's going to tag the wall as well, but you see just how much faster this momentum is carrying these guys around the racetrack.
Well, and the biggest...
Sorry, Ryan. He got pushed up there a little bit. Cosman got a little tight there in the middle and slid up the racetrack, and that's what got the 773 up out of the groove and up into the wall. But you were saying...
Yeah, but the big thing here is, with the bumpy Daytona, the middle groove seemed to be the preferred lane because of how much smoother it is. But here, as we mentioned, smooth grooves from the bottom to the top. So whatever lane has the most momentum or the most energy is going to be the lane you want to see. As you see a couple cars now jumping out of line, opting to kind of stay out of the trouble because, well, we're at a super speedway. It's bound to happen.
Harry Tiller also made the start from the pit lane, so he is well behind the pack. Brayton Laster's in the wall. In the Little Tykes car, Fly Guy gets tipped. Travis onto the apron. They're staggered 3 wide across the whole racetrack. Everybody manages to keep the cars pointed in the right direction. A great save from Travis Brown, and everybody is all good. We're only 3 laps into this deal, but everybody keeps them up pointed straight.
And that's been several close calls here so far with everybody in this huge giant pack. You're starting to see more contact, everybody trying to shuffle around. And now that we've had a few close calls, you can see them really starting to spread out and wanting to not really run as tightly in the pack formation as we saw 2 weeks ago here from the 08 Daytona.
Off turn 4, coming to the completion of lap number 4. Rawgator going to lead him back around. Cosman's making that third line work with help from Chase Cabry. Davey Davis leading in the middle line. They'll go back to turn number 1. We'll see how the rest of this plays out. But so far, so good at the front of the pack. 3 wide, about 5-6 rows deep.
And you see how comfortable those guys are jumping up to that third lane really early. You see Cosmic getting a nice push from Chase Cabry. The big thing with these ARCA cars is with the rounded nose, you can't lock bumpers really. You can't physically push. But it's kind of like that beach ball effect that's been kind of popularized recently. If you could get an air pocket between your car and the car in front of you, you could actually lunge that car forward. So watch for that to be a key play here tonight.
See how that plays out as, oh man, Davey gets a little tight there in the middle, swashes up the racetrack. 3 wide of the start-finish line. Cosman will lead that lap up on the outside. We had, 2 3-wide finishes coming to the line in the races 2 weeks ago at Daytona. They were 4 wide coming to the line in one of the duels. Davey Davis clear down low. He'll take the lead. Cabry bounces off the wall. Travis checks up, and there goes Gavin hard into the wall. Big crash off turn number 2. Sean Butler, the first car sideways. Frisch is around. And the first caution's out on lap number 5. Justin Malillo involved in this. And the 77 of drive-through took a hard hit to the outside wall coming up off the corner head on.
And that started with the big stack up with your leaders. Chase Cabry appeared to get into the outside wall, and that stacked that entire outside lane up and just was kind of an accordion effect. And Sean Butler was just the victim of circumstance right there. It looked like he just got a shot to the rear, and that's what turned him around.
Take a look at the replay here, coming through 1 and 2, and it was just a slight bit of contact up on the outside line. Cabry got the wall. Everybody checked up.
Yep.
And Ryan Burton gets tagged in this. And that 77 hard into the wall. You see Frisch get turned around. I think Dale Reynolds, for the most part, got a little tap, but other than that, he's okay. Not too bad.
And, I mean, we saw kind of leading up to that wreck, everybody was starting to get comfortable again and starting to get in that traditional pack formation, and that's what happens. And you can see Davin just a horrible hit in that 77 machine.
And I'll tell you right away, a lot of those cars that dropped to the back, they're probably smiling, they're probably giggling because they saw that wreck happen in front of them. They had all the time in the world to avoid it. But you see this onboard here, just nowhere to go for a lot of these guys here. Just classic Daytona. It's a narrow place and there's nowhere to hide.
Right on board there with Sean, or no, that's Justin. trying to carve through all of that.
Daytona, baby.
Wow, David Schulthouse is telling jokes.
That's classic Schildhouse. I mean, what is a core race without David Schildhouse saying things?
I guess he got this from his Twitch chat. What was the name of the builder that built King Arthur's Round Table?
Oh no.
Circumference.
Oh, we're wrecking on pit road.
Trouble. Oh, Jordan Worth got hit by Frisch. Look out.
It looks like Case might have either A, missed his stall, or B, just had to check up for another car. He got jacked up, and then it caused Jordan Worth to get knocked up into the air. That you don't see that on pit road.
What is it with people crashing on pit road in this series? All right, we can get a replay here. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. This is Kallenbach we're focused on here.
Mm-hmm.
And who's that in front of him there?
That's Cadell.
Jonathan Cadell, yeah.
Yep. And then Dale passes him here. You see Schildhouse. Oh, Dale got into Cadell, and that stacked him up, and then Ryan Burton had nowhere to go trying to get to his stall.
Yeah, it's just a check up there.
It's because everybody's scattered all across pit lane. Usually here, Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, usually the outside lane set for the guys that are moving. They've got a long way to go, or they're on their way out of pit road. That middle there is for the guys coming into their stalls, coming out of their stalls. You didn't have guys doing that there, and that's what led to the carnage.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that happened there is you saw a lot of cars, running in the middle of the lane, running all the way to the left. Some guys trying to lunge past each other. You saw one car kind of lunge past Case and then go in front of Schildhouse. He stopped. Schildhouse checks up. Case checks up. And it's just like we talked about, just a stack-up effect of guys just kind of trying to peek out, trying to get into their box, not riding in line. And that's what happens right there. I mean, pitting at a super speedway, both under caution and under green, is very difficult. And I cannot stress that enough.
All right, so Landon Huffman just barely, and I mean barely, missed the time to register for this race. So he unfortunately has to sit this one out. He'll be in for race 2 coming up later on tonight. 40 laps here. We reset. We kind of change servers, and then we do another 40 laps. How that works, of course, is it's an inverted field from race 1. So the winner of this race will start in the back. Now your choose cone here, it's the blue cone, the exit coming off turn number 2 there on the apron. How this works, you're in the grass, you're on the bottom. You're on the apron, you're on the racetrack, you're on the outside. And if anybody hits that blue cone, drop kicks it, you're going to the back of the field. And Benjamin Easterday is watching that like a hawk. So glad we brought that into the core this year.
Yeah, it's been lots of fun for sure this year having the choose cone in there. And you're right, Ben definitely just, I feel like he has a camera just set up, and as soon as anybody even comes close to touching it, it's an insta black flag EOL. But yeah, it's brought a lot of strategy into core this year and has been just such a great addition.
Well, and yes, he does have a camera set up. That's exactly how he finds out whether anybody hits it or not. He is always watching. Field coming through 3 and 4 here, getting ready for the restart. Your top 10 stayed out. Everybody else was on pit road. A couple of guys only taking fuel there, including Cosman, Jonathan Cadell, Gary Owen, Brayton Laster. Some guys taking 4 tires, though. Schildhouse, Sean Butler, Cody H. Gaming, Blake McCandless, Ian Plash. Green flag, we're back in the air. 9 laps complete here from Daytona. And Davey Davis gets a good launch there on that front row. Here goes Travis onto the apron. Remember, that is legal here in core. You can use the apron to pass. You can pass down there. He gets back up in line, though, as they go to turn 1. On the backstretch, you see Jordan Worth in that green car kind of peeking out of line. And now here comes Joey Stone. Missed the race last week because he was getting engaged down at Disney. Now here he is trying to win at Daytona. 3 wide up on the outside. A big run up there from Cosman and from Goen. He's going to fall back a little bit, though, and Davey Davis will pull away on the bottom.
Yeah, and I mean, that was just the sucker hole right there for Joey. He got up in that top lane with no help and, like, putting an anvil on the back of the car, basically, and he's going to fall all the way outside of the top 10, even looks like now. Good push to Rawgator from Cabry right there in the middle, though. Not going to be able to clear Davey Davis down on the inside, though.
Still got to be careful of that outside wall. We saw it bite a couple of people early on in that first run, and it appears at this point, Ryan, that is the trouble spot. You run up toward that outside wall, and anybody below you makes a mistake, it could cause a wreck because you've got nowhere to go.
Well, and that's the biggest thing with these ARCA cars is they have a little bit of skew to them. The body is kind of asymmetrical, so the right rear sticks out a lot further than a lot of these drivers think, and that's why you keep seeing guys like Rusty, guys like Cabry scrubbing that right side against the wall because they're just simply not used to that. But the biggest thing that I see right now is with just 3 cars in that outside lane, they're able to charge, and they're actually going to be able to make a charge to the lead here. The 773, that's Fly Guy. He's going to the outside of Rawgator, making it 3 wide for the lead.
Oh, man, may have just touched the wall going into turn number 1, but he still kept his momentum up. And Fly Guy trying to lead that outside line around to the front as they make their way down the back straightaway. Whoa, look out. One car just weaving back there. That's David Schildhaus. I think he's had one too many tonight. But Rawgator poking his nose out through the middle, 3 wide.
Yeah, and you see Fly Guy still up on the top here. He's had so much pace this season. Doesn't necessarily have the results to show for it, but even last week at Homestead, he was running really well here at Daytona for the second time around. Feeling pretty comfortable now. On board with Jonathan Cadell. You see the camera there for the 68 machine.
Focused.
Honestly, that's a look of a man on a mission right there.
He's up in the 15th position. Remember, he was involved in that crash back on lap 9. Rather, before that was lap 6.
You can kind of see what he's trying to do there. He's just kind of hanging out in that outside lane. He's staying with the pack, trying to hold onto the draft, but he also doesn't want to get up into the mix of it. And as I say that, he's kind of catching back up. But that's a lot of different strategy. You see a lot of guys further back running single file, waiting for the next big one, because I feel like everybody feels like there's another one coming, but then you have guys like Cadell who's a little bit more hesitant on that. He doesn't want to ride, but he also doesn't want to get caught up in the wreck. So varying strategies. Do you go? Do you no go? Do you kind of go? There's no real right or wrong option here.
Just have to wait and see. One note, by the way, Harry Tiller is inside the top 15. He started dead last from the pit lane. And Champagne, he pulls out a line there. I think he got a little out of control. He drops to the apron, and Cisco goes by him. Cisco right now in the P12 position. Team Rick up toward the front. You've got Arrow there, P3 on the bottom, 7th on the racetrack right now. They make their way off the corner.
And right now, you're still looking up front. These 2 cars in Gator and Davey Davis really have control of the field right now, and I feel like that's something that we didn't so much see at Daytona the first time around 2 weeks ago, was that you could get these cars out front that could just navigate different lanes and just kind of have a grapple over the race.
Like I still trying to keep that outside line working. The first car that came onto pit road right now in this lead pack, it's going in P8. Everybody else, for the most part, in this lead pack did not stop under that first caution flag. Got to look back to Cosman there, right on the tail end of this, and they are 3 wide, 4 rows deep. Davey's just trying to get clear, and he's almost there on the 14.
It is gridlock through the first 8 positions here. You see side by side, 3 wide, 2 rows deep. But the biggest thing here that we're talking about, you mentioned a lot different than what we saw at the 08 Daytona. Here, handling doesn't really matter. It's all about the momentum, where the energy is coming from, who's going to push you. You see Joey Stone putting a valiant effort up there on the top, but with just 2 cars, you can see they're dropping back and a lot of shuffling on that inside lane. Whoa.
Yeah, Cosman dropped down to there, and I think that's going to do it for the outside line, at least for now, till somebody jumps up. That's allowed the middle line here to take over. Rawgator getting out in front with the help from Chase Cabry there. One thing to note is that, yes, we're in a day-to-night transition, so the lights are going to come on. This second race will be under the lights, and we've got pit stops. Guys need to pit in order to make it to the end. Travis Brown, Harry Tiller, Sean Butler's on pit road, McCandless as well. Those guys, this is their first time on pit road for them. They stayed out under the caution flag.
That's interesting. I'm surprised they didn't try to wait it out. I mean, I don't think that they were low on fuel. Maybe they're just trying to do this and hope for a yellow, but
well,
very
remember,
interesting there.
Remember, 65% fuel capacity in these race
True.
cars, so the distance that they can make is less than if they were on a full tank. If they were on a full tank, they would make just about the distance. Here, it's a little bit less than that, and more likely, we've seen a lot of guys have to pit. They did it under green. There are still 10 or so cars that have not come on to pit road yet. And by the way, Butler, Michaelis, and all of them, they actually have pitted already. So they all took fuel only. They're back out on the racetrack right now.
I guess they're banking on it going
22.
green.
Yeah, some 32 seconds behind the race leaders. Also want to bring your attention to a couple of cars that are away from the draft. You've got, that's Melillo, Michael P. Frisch, and Drive-Thru. Drive-Thru is a lap down, and it's this 3-car pack behind the field by about 16 seconds, maybe more than that. And they're just riding around right now. And the best thing, Caleb, is that when you lose the draft, you have guys around you. Otherwise, you're going to get lapped in a hurry.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, you see this big lead pack, and these guys in the draft they're again just going so much faster, hitting about 195, 196. Then you look back to this 3-car mini pack. You're only hitting speeds of about 190, maybe topping out at 191. Another thing I wanted to take a look at, though, is you did see those guys come down the pit road. Do you think maybe in this lead pack we start to see different methods of fuel strategy? And Ryan, you've been in this ARCA car as recently as 2 weeks ago here at Daytona. I mean, are there any strategies that you know of sitting in the draft that you can use to maybe save some fuel?
Well, the biggest thing is when you're in the draft, you don't have to be wide open. You can run about 3/4 or even half throttle. I remember in real life running in the Xfinity car, being in the draft at Talladega and having to save fuel. You back off to almost half throttle, 3/4 throttle. So a lot of these guys, if they're trying to stretch it as far as they can, we have a big checkup on the top side there. That's Gabe Wood. Big,
he got
big
the wall.
for him.
Everybody keeps it going.
That was wild. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, when you're in the draft like that, you're not forced to be wide open. Those guys who are leading, the Cabreys, the Davies, they have to be wide open because they're the leaders. They're the ones that take in all the air.
Yeah, Gabe Wood, I think, just entered too high there in turn number 1. That's what got him up and into the fence. Other than that, everybody is just fine. We're coming to halfway in race number 1 right here. Your leader at the line is Davey Davis by a nose. As the field goes back to turn number 1, shout out to the bots in the Twitch chat. We'll be seeing you. And Rawgator trying to do his best as now Cisco in the wall.
It's that skewed race car. The right rear is just hanging out further. It's so easy to get trapped by that.
He's going to lose a lot of time, but at least keeps it rolling. He is one of the other guys that has not pitted. And one thing I imagine here, Vargas, tire wear less of an impact here than it is on the bumpy Daytona just because the track is smoother?
Heck, I mean, I remember running the bumpy Daytona. We hardly took tires, even though it was more rough, as you see a couple cars kind of getting dicey out of turn number 4. But yeah, I mean, really the big thing here is making sure you can make it to the end. If you could save some time by just taking a splash of fuel and not taking tires, then go right ahead. It's honestly almost better to just put yourself in a position where you could have that track position, because you could see how, like, right now you see one car trying to jump to the 3rd lane, but he has no help. If you're stuck further back in the field, you may not have guys that want to work with you. So very interesting situation to be in.
Perhaps Fly Guy looking for some help up there, but he's not going to get it. Champagne goes up the middle. That's your point leader. He's won 3 of the first 4 races this year, 4 of the last 5 if you look back to the end of last season when he won at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. So he has been on fire so far in core at the end of season 4 and here in season 5, trying to continue that here at Daytona as Rawgator leads that lap just by a nose.
Yeah, and I mean, Justin Champagne, I think saying he's on fire is even an understatement. I mean, he's almost looked unbeatable at points. Blake McCandless got the win in the first race last week, and then Champagne just came back out and dominated the field once again. So he's been having a really good year. You see he's going to go venture up to the top lane, maybe try to accrue some help. Doesn't look like anybody's going to go with him, though, and he's going to fall all the way back.
He's trying to hang up there. He's got Cabrey to help, and now Cabrey has to fall to that middle line. That may be up there for be it up there for now. 17 to go in race number 1 here from Daytona. Gator and Davey Davis side by side, but Champagne doing it all by himself. 3 wide for that 3rd spot.
Champagne is doing a phenomenal job in that outside lane. You see how that second car in line behind Raw Gator, he's not lined up with Raw Gator. He's leaving a little bit of right side open, and Champagne, what he's doing is he's getting a sniff of the draft, and the way the model works, the draft model works in iRacing, even if he gets a sniff of that draft, he's going to have the momentum. And you see now Gator trying to actually protect the 3rd lane, it appears. But now Davey Davis all by himself at the front there.
Oh, Wes Graham washed up and almost, well, he did make contact. That's going to allow Champagne to actually take the spot away after Graham lifts. But they hold on. And Davey Davis back out in front as that middle line now starts to fall apart a little bit.
You can start to see a few new faces starting to crawl up here. Arrow just took the 4th position. Corey Vervink behind him. Champagne going to dodge back out in line. 3 wide again for 3rd.
How about for the lead, 3 wide?
Fly guy over the radio there.
Well, nobody else could hear it.
Yeah, he was just
share with the class.
Yeah, talking about. You can see he's right there in the middle line, just talking about needing fuel, trying to get down. So you can start to hear some stress in his voice about fuel strategy here.
We'll see if he can make it back to the pit lane. I thought he said something about fuel, but I was like, well, maybe not. Well, we'll see how he does. He's up on that outside. He does have some traffic behind. Ryan Burton and Rusty up there. As they're 3 wide for the lead again here at the front. Champagne trying to get pushed all the way out there. Not quite clear. Of the 14 in the 305, he gets down at least in front of Raw Gator. And we'll see how this works here coming off turn 4. If any cars decide to make the turn onto pit lane. Does not look like it. Everybody's staying out on the racetrack, and here comes Ian Plash making a splash, and he's almost making a mess up in the wall.
That was almost a big moment. It's so easy to get stuck against that wall and then try and pull the car off the wall and dive back into traffic. So nice job recovering. And honestly, he didn't lose too much momentum. He's going to dive right into the 6th spot there on the top side, but it looks like he's going to try to jump back to the top. And is Cabry going to go with him? Because Cabry's not afraid to push, but looks like he's going to be hung out to dry.
Done a lot of pushing so far tonight. Flash just has nowhere to go up on that outside. Doesn't have any Team Rick teammates here to give him a push. Coming toward 13 laps to go. More drivers discussing fuel strategy. Go ahead, Caleb.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was just about to hop on and talk about is I think you were seeing some apprehension there from Chase Cabry to help Ian Plash there, because fuel is in the front of most of these guys' mind at this point. You don't want to be all the way on the top side when you're going to have to eventually get down all the way to the bottom to come in and pit here in the next few laps. Chase Cabry was inquiring about if the guys that pitted under that first caution would be able to make it, and from the sounds of it, don't think they will be able to.
Well, Fly Guy hasn't stopped, and he said he is 3 laps away from running out.
Oh,
so
boy.
that means he's going to be about 10 laps short. So the guys that pitted under the caution, it's going to be close for them to make it on fuel. We'll see a lot more cars lining up on the inside line. Perhaps or organizing here, just get to the bottom, so that way when we need to pit, we can pit. As you see Raw Gator, he's going to do the same thing. Champagne and Davey Davis side by side.
And see, the stressful part here is when you come to pit road, who are your friends? Who's going to work with you getting on and off the pit road? I bet you these guys are talking internally, messaging each other through Discord, messaging each other through race chat, trying to figure out who's going to be their friend and who's going to draft with them getting on and off the pit road. And then also, it's crazy difficult getting down to pit road in a pack. And with all these cars single file, that's telling me in the next lap or two, you're going to see a bunch of these guys make the dive down to pit road. Here we go.
Yep, a lot of cars, a lot of drivers making the call. Let's see if they can make it without any incident. Tires locking up, cars getting sideways. Can everybody make the squeeze onto pit road entry? Yes. Any black flags? Davey got hit by Champagne and Vervinkt. Wes Graham is a black flag. He sped coming onto pit road. Davey Davis got hit by Champagne, and that's what sent him around.
And that's what we talked about, that stack up. Everybody's trying to get on a pit road at one time. There was probably 12 or 15 cars all in one place at one time trying to fight for basically the same spot, trying to get on the pit road. And you saw right there, Davey Davis, a victim of circumstance.
Ian Plash makes the call. He's coming to pit road this time. He is currently your race leader. Now, he already has stopped. I could have sworn he said he was pitting.
Oh.
I don't know what in the world he said, but he's staying out on the racetrack. That's why I was like, wait, he already pitted. So Chase Cabry is the only guy that has not stopped tonight. 10 laps to go. As we'll see if he thinks that maybe he can stretch this out and make it to the end. But I ain't believing it right now.
Well,
we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it last week at Homestead, too. I mean, there are lots of guys that aren't afraid to push this thing all the way. You saw it in race 1 last week at Homestead. There were guys that were running out of fuel, like coming across the finish line there. So, you know, not
trouble for Arrow here. Hold on. He's got a meatball. Did he blow a tire?
There's no
he doesn't have any he doesn't have any damage.
You know what?
And he didn't,
you know what happened?
He didn't wreck. Yeah.
He might have money shifted coming out of the pits.
Oh, you are correct.
Yeah, yeah.
And Cabry's on
coming
pit road.
up. Cabry is coming in, and you're absolutely right. Arrow money shifted, went from 3rd to 2nd. He's going to get it to pit road, plus he's off the racetrack, so it wouldn't be a caution anyway. Your race leader is Ryan Burton. Cosman and Rusty are battling for 2nd and 3rd. Here down the back straightaway, coming to 8 laps to go.
Wow, look at Rusty on the high side. That's Brayton Laster right behind him, the Little Tykes machine. But here comes Davey Davis with Fly Guy. Those two, again, were involved in that pit road collision. And they're getting their laps back. This lead pack, though, a bunch of guys that haven't seen much success core in this season, trying to make something out of nothing here.
By the way, Rusty just led that lap. He has led a lap here in season number 5 at Daytona. Up on the outside line. I would think he has led a lap before in his 5 seasons. I don't know for sure.
No.
But Rusty just did it there at the start-finish line. He pulled a Caleb. He finally led a lap in the core. Ryan Burton now takes over the lead. Rusty, unfortunately, no help up on the high side. We're coming to 7 laps to go. There are 2 cars in front here. Davey Davis is one, Fly Guy is the other. They already pitted. And that's why they're up there right now. And they're going to help the leaders here with the draft.
And Rusty's doing a phenomenal job on the outside all by himself, putting the air onto the spoiler of this car.
He just took the lead.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And he's going to the outside of lap cars.
I don't know about Rusty. I feel like you'd kind of want to
We've got a crash.
These guys.
Drive-through is spun, trying to come to pit road. He made contact with Frisch. Frisch just sent it in way too deep. Frisch and DT both have black flags. Frisch also just missed his pit stall. So a horrible stop for them. Neither of them going to have a shot. DT was already a lap down. And Frisch now out of contention to try and win this race. Rusty is gone. Rusty.
Yeah, he's with these 3 cars.
I tell you what, I don't think they can make it on fuel. If the other guy's pitted, I don't think Rusty knows they can't make it. That's why the rest of the pack is backing off. We have 6 to go. Now, Rusty's getting the draft, but it's still not enough at this point.
What's impressive to me is how those lap cars, along with Rusty, are able to gap this. I don't know how much they're backing up, but Rusty's going to the apron, going all over. I've never seen this before. I'm at a loss. I don't know how to describe this, honestly. I wish I did.
Checking up. They're checking up on the straightaway. Now here comes David Schildhouse up the outside. Schildhouse thinks that he has enough and that he's going to have a shot. He's joined by Cody H Gaming and Brian LaPrade. Case peeks his nose out. 5 to go.
Yeah, looking internally at Rusty here, I don't think he's even thinking about fuel. He's just sitting in there and just looking in. He's 2 laps away from having to pit. So I'm not sure if he has a grand strategy to save 3 laps of fuel out of nowhere, but I don't think this is going to be viable for that 59.
We'll see what happens as he comes through 3 and 4. We round on board with Brayton Laster, who is in that pack. He's running P9 right now. He's trying to make sure he has enough gas. But Rusty has almost a 3-second lead coming to 4 laps to go. Does he have enough fuel? Fuel mileage at a plate track. This is insanity.
I'm at a loss for words right now. I don't know. Like, I feel like he would know, but maybe he doesn't. Maybe he does. But he's got a huge lead. You see a lot of these cars just kind of riding in line. I mean, the biggest thing about this is I don't see a caution coming because everybody's in their own pack. You see 5 cars here. You see another 6 or so behind them. Everybody's pretty ordered. You know, the second group there, they're a little bit mismatched, but nobody's real tight. I think everybody's just trying to make it to the finish.
Now, here's the thing. He is in a voice chat with other guys, so they should know. You know, Cody and DT are in there, so we'll see. As we continue to look further in the pack, that's Cosman and Cadell.
Here he comes.
Oh, here he comes. Oh, no. Oh, don't speed. Don't speed.
Oh, Rusty. I don't think
he's good. He's good. He is good. So Shieldhouse takes the lead with 3 to go.
Yeah, there was some funny voice chat there. Cody was really not pleased with Shieldhouse for braking, and Shieldhouse comes over the voice chat and responds, "We're trying to save fuel." And now Shieldhouse, Cody, that entire pack finds themselves in control of the race with 3 laps to go. So it's going to be in the hands of Cody Hicken going behind them if they're going to be able to make a move around Shieldhouse here.
Well, and what Cody was talking about, he was referring to the leader at that point, which was Ryan Burton. He was at the front of the line. He was hitting the brakes trying to save fuel, and that was stacking everybody else behind him. Shieldhouse pulled out a line, made the move on the outside. Cody went up and followed him. Shieldhouse knew what they were doing. He was just smart enough to get out of the way. 2 to go at Daytona in race 1.
Shieldhouse now has control of the field here. Cody just riding in line. Cody wants to save some fuel, but so does everybody else. Who's going to make the move? Nobody wants to jump out and waste their little bit of fuel. I think it's going to be a run to the finish on the white flag lap. I don't see a move being made until the backstretch on the white flag lap.
We'll have to wait and see. Nobody else that has pitted is within range to catch these guys. Harry Tiller and company, remember they pitted just a couple laps into the run. They are 11 seconds back. They are flying, but they are not going to make it in time as we are coming to the white flag. We'll see if everybody has enough fuel. And boy, this feels like an ARCA finish if I've ever seen one. I saw Bobby Gerhardt pass 9 guys to win it one year. Ryan Burton pits, last lap, 1 to go at Daytona.
And this is what it all comes down to. Cody H Gaming, he's no stranger to victory lane at Daytona here in Core. Got it a few years ago back when it was still on NASCAR Heat. He's looking for iRacing redemption of sorts. You can see Jonathan Cadell on the outside. He's going to have help from going. They're going to be side by side down the backstretch for the final time here at Daytona.
Massive run.
He laid back. He thinks he has enough fuel. He goes to the outside. Shieldhouse down on the bottom. Does he have enough fuel? Yes, he's still going.
Okay.
Kallenbach 3 wide on the bottom. Here comes going to the top of the racetrack. Cadell out in front looking for his second core win. Going looking for his first. Going with the help. Here comes Kallenbach. Where does he go? He blocks Cody. Breyer up the middle. They all wreck. And Goen is going to victory lane for the first time in Core. He wins race 1 of the Ben Craziest Craziness 200.
What a finish. Kallenbach had the run from nowhere. He was the favorite to win, and here comes the second pack.
Here comes this second pack to the line. Oh, Cisco gets turned. Big crash. Jordan Worth is going to beat them all. No, Frozen Toes beat him to the line. And Joey at the same time. Man. Chaos on the last lap.
Fuel mileage. What the heck?
They don't call it the craziest craziness for nothing. This is Vervinkt back here. This is 23rd. Davey Davis got the spot. Wow.
Yeah, what a turn of events here from Daytona. I mean, Goen gets his first ever win in Core. He had a win at Daytona in the Fall Brawl back in iRacing's, or the Core's iRacing debut, but that will be his first officially counted points win here in Core.
Gary Owen, you're a race winner in Core. How about it?
Hey, you know what? My first ever win was the Fall Brawl like 2 years ago at Daytona. And here we are again. I hit the wall again on a burnout attempt. That's the second time I've done that too, by the way. But that's pretty cool. I hate how we won it, but I'm glad we won.
Take us through trying to save fuel there throughout those closing laps. You guys pitted at the caution flag and did not look back.
I mean, I got a homie, Matt Parma, who was saying if we pit with the 1 to go at that first yellow, it'd be really, really close. So we came in, took the risk. We tried it in the first Daytona, and it worked out. So we tried it again, and I just ran half throttle the whole time, and we were like 0.2 at the line. It's not like I hate fuel mileage racing, but you got to do what you got to do, and I mean, we were just the lucky one here.
So you get to come back here. You get to do this thing again in just a couple of moments, do another 40 laps. What did you learn out of that first race, whether it's strategy or something else, that you can take into this next race?
Every play race is so different and chaotic. I don't feel like I can take anything in other than I know how to slow the car down on a straightaway.
Gary Owen.
Does that count for anything?
I think it does. Gary
right.
Owen, race winner in core. Congratulations, and we'll see you in just a couple of moments for race number 2.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for putting on the awesome broadcast.
Your finishing interviews brought to you by that dude named Dale. Classic NASCAR gaming done right. Now, that's Gary Owen. We'll send him on his way. Caleb has somebody that's finally led a lap in core. It's Rusty.
Rusty, we were on board with you. We were all pulling for you. What happened there on the fuel front for that 59 machine?
Mike check, you got me.
Loud and clear.
Not gonna lie, I just wanted to get some TV time. Like, that's all it was. Once I realized once we were short on fuel, I'm like, let's just try to get the lead like our first laps in a couple seasons. We did that, checked some boxes. People were kind of laughing at my driving out there a little bit. My computer was having a stroke. A lot of issues, driver, computer, fuel, everything, just not our day to day. But I wanted to just have some fun and lead some laps and have the broadcast go, there's no way he can do it, is there? And hopefully we did it.
Well, you accomplished that for sure. We were listening to you and Fly Guy. Hopefully, you have something for this pack in the second race. We'll let you get back to it. But
all right.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Walrus.
Watch me to wreck myself less than 3 laps into race 2 again. We'll try to do a little bit better though.
That's Rusty Walrus for you, Jacob.
All right. So what we do from here, we look at our results first. And, of course, I already closed out the sim, so I have to go off the feed. Brian LaPrade finished second. He started last unofficially, even though 2 guys started from the pit lane. He finishes second. Cody Hicken, his best finish since he won here 3 seasons ago. He finishes third. Jonathan Cadell, 4th. Case Kallenbach, 5th. Cosmonaut Issue, 6th. Brayton Lester, 7th. David Schildhaus, 8th. Harry Tiller, 9th. Blake McCandless, a winner at Homestead. He finishes 10th. Caleb.
Travis Brown going to come home 11th. Sean Butler in 12th. Going on. Ian Plash makes a splash, finishes 13th. Joey Stone in 14th. Frozen Toes comes home 15th. Jordan Worth going to finish 16th. Champagne in 17th. Rawgator 18th. Cisco Scaramuza in the 19th position. And coming home, rounding out your top 20 is going to be Chase Cabry, Ryan.
And then we get to the best of the rest. You have Gabe Wood right there in P21. It looked like he was out of fuel coming to the line there. Very slow there. Unfortunate deal there. Davey Davis, who had a lot of laps, controlled this race. Strategy didn't work out. P23. We got Corey in P24. Go to the rest of the field. You got Justin Malillo caught up in that early incident, rounding up P25. Fly Guy, 26. Rusty Walrus, he led a lap. He got the TV time. He got us talking. P27. Wes Graham in 28th. Arrow 29th. Michael P. Frisch, P30. Gavin in P31. And your pole setter for the next race, Dale Reynolds in 32nd.
And everybody behind Wes Graham did not finish on the lead lap. The next session is almost up. We'll be ready in just a moment. We'll step aside. We'll go to a break. When we come back, race number 2 with the Ben Craziest Craziness 200. Stay with us.
This is the world's premier online racing simulation. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat from your home computer with the most realistic online motorsports experience you'll find anywhere. Race virtually in the world's biggest events with officially licensed series, cars, and tracks. From the high banks of Daytona to the blistering speeds of Indianapolis, the dirt of Eldora to the world's most legendary road courses. It's all here. And with more than 180,000 people just like you already driving, you'll always have someone to race. Ready to get behind the wheel? Sign up at iRacing.com to get started.
You don't have to. No, you don't have to say those words again. Oh no, and you don't have to. No, you don't have to go and explain yourself, 'cause I ain't gonna listen. Yeah, all you wanted was a souvenir to remember it all. Yeah, you tore it apart down to every last piece. Yeah, a souvenir, another story to tell. And I No, you don't have to say those words again. Oh no. And you don't have to. No, you don't have to go and explain yourself, 'cause I ain't gonna listen. Yeah, all you wanted was a souvenir to remember the fall. To go and tell your friends you were there for it all. A souvenir, just a little postcard for the road. And I just gotta know how to find happiness in the wrong places. It never ends. It's there in all ways. It's evident you never changed for our sake. Baby, I can't you see we're falling now? Your little black book ran out of pages. 'Cause if you're gonna take it all, then baby, don't waste it. You only want it if you know you're gonna break it. Just another souvenir for the take, yeah. Just take it. Baby, just take it. Just another souvenir for the road. That's the way it goes. Just take it. Baby, just take it.
Hey there, space boy, moving through the galaxy. Can you hear me through the dark? I'm calling you. Where do I start? I'm an emotional, taking in your sweet and considerate heart. Come into my world, give me your spark. Time to land and visit the planet. Give me your try. Still wanna make you sure I'm the reason to come back here. Just don't linger too.
And we are back here from Daytona International Speedway for race number 2. Jacob Pitts, Caleb Hoffman, Ryan Vargas here with you. Let's run through our reverse grid, which is brought to you by the Ben Crazy, providing retro videos and our 2003 at iRacing help on YouTube. The pole sitter in this race, the Team Rick Pole Award, it goes to the guy that finished last in the race before this one. Tonight, it's Dale Reynolds. He finished last, so he gets the honor of starting on the pole position. Again, since 2022, Team Rick has awarded less than $0 as part of Core's pole reward program. The rest of the grid, Davin Cornelius lines up on the outside. Then, row number 2, Michael P. Frisch and Arrow. Wes Graham and Rusty in row number 3. Fly Guy Justin Malillo in row number 4. Corey Vervinkt, Davey Davis rounding out the top 10, Caleb.
Ryan Burton came down pit road with 2 laps to go, tanking for that better starting spot. Gabe Wood starts along the outside of him. Chase Cabry in 13th did not make the grid, so Cisco Scaramuza, that entire row actually looks like they're going to be starting from the pit lane. Raw Gator going to be in 15th position, starting with Justin Champagne on the outside. 17th going to be Jordan Worth. 18th, Frozen Toes. Then rounding out the top 20 going to be Joey Stone in 19th and Ian Plash in 20th. Ryan?
And the rest here, Sean Butler, Travis Brown, Blake McCandless, Harry Tiller, David Schildhouse, Brayton Laster, Cosmodown Issue, Case Collerbach, Jonathan Goodell, Tony H. Gaming's 30th, Brian LaPrade, Goen, Landon Huffman. Now, numerous guys are going to start on the pit lane here. Among them, Chase Cabry, Davey Davis, Cisco Scaramuza, and that's it, I think. No, Corey Vervink still is not here. Still not on the racetrack. Everybody else is set to go. Gabe Wood has an EOL. He now has to catch up to the field here. He is pretty much in turn 2. So 3 guys starting from the pit lane, 1 guy MIA, the rest of the field getting set to go here through turns 3 and 4 to get us rolling in race number 2. While we have the time, we'll remind you that we are not here next week because of the holidays. So we're taking a week off. We are back in 2 weeks' time when we go to, to Martinsville. Race 2 is underway from Daytona. Green flag. Oh my God, Travis, 4 wide up the middle. He is flying.
Yeah,
As they go into turn number 1, oh my, how is that legal?
I think he launched the start there.
Yeah.
And I don't see any repercussions from admin bin there, so good move. Jordan Worth all the way down to the apron.
And just trying to get out of town. Rusty leading that outside line. He led laps in race number 1. He's on his way now to the front here in race number 2. Dale leads the bottom. Davin in the middle through 3.
Well, and Rusty talked about in the first race, he's there for DV time. Well, he's getting it here tonight, leaving the outside lane. He has the momentum, and you saw Travis, who made that crazy move at the start. He is well inside this pack here, trying to make some hay.
Rusty!
Into 3 wide. Look at that. Rusty to the lead.
Didn't quite lead that first lap. That went to drive through. Dale, 0-0-0 at the line for Dale. 0-0-9 for Rusty at the line. 3 wide, all under a blanket, all pretty much at the wire off 2.
I know Travis right now is just ecstatic to be pushing Rusty all the way to the lead. Rusty probably freaking out. He was looking to try to clear drive through there, but room was not there for him to make that move. Dale Reynolds still going to retain the lead on the inside. Davin Cornelius right alongside him. We'll see if the outside lane can get that push and keep that momentum up.
Oh my. That was scary.
Yeah.
But so far, so good. Davin leads yet another lap here at the start-finish line. Rusty's getting a little yiggly up there on the high side, 3 wide, probably watching the broadcast. As here they go back to turn number 1. Dale on the bottom, leading the charge, has Frisch behind, the 2 Canadians in the middle, Davin and Arrow.
And Justin Malillo here on the outside, right behind Travis Brown. He doesn't know what's going on in front of him. All he can see is the rear bumper of that non-existent camo right there. But now the outside has the momentum. I think Rusty's just cleared. He's to the lead.
He is!
Oh, he got
to the lead!
He's the leader.
And Travis was telling him, if you're clear, take it. If you're clear, take it. And Rusty, clear out in front at speed. No fuel saving this time. Rusty's going to lead the lap. Yes!
Came over the radio and told Travis that he loved him right before he left him. He's going to go all the way back up to the high side.
This is not going to work out well.
Oh, and he's going to fall back. He had his brief moment in the spotlight. Travis is still just yelling at him over the radio, telling him to get back up front. Oh my goodness, lots of just fun scenes here in core race number 2.
My.
They are all over the place in that middle lane. You see Arrow, he got a little loose going into turn number 3 there. He kind of got a little bit of wobbly. Oh my gosh, Rusty.
I thought for sure he was going there. I thought for sure he'd done it.
But the thing is like they're holding on to it. But man, I mean, we saw how calm that first race got towards the second.
Contact between DT.
Oh, hang on, Arrow.
Oh,
we're good.
I'm just making noises right now, just reacting to this. But I want to bring a little bit of focus here to Justin Malillo, 3rd in line on the top side. If there's anybody I trust on a super speedway, it's Justin Malillo. He is now in the position to start making some hay. You see Rusty back to the lead. Now he's going to try and push Travis out to the front.
Well, Davin clear in the middle there. He's able to get alongside Rusty, at least for the moment. The 03's off his bumper, though, and that's going to allow Rusty to go back up to the middle. He's clear. Oh, he gets turned! Oh, no!
Rusty,
everybody
no!
scatters. Frisch in the grass. We're still green. Single car spin.
I think we're going to keep it
We're
green
all good.
we start wrecking.
Oh,
Travis to the lead, though, and Malillo is second. How about Landon Huffman sitting in 3rd? We'll take a look at that first one then under the clown reel. Oh my!
the Candelist.
Trouble.
with
contact.
Landon there. Landon's going to be up on
Here
the
comes
high side.
Malillo for the lead.
I told you about Malillo. Don't count him out of the super speedway. He is challenging for the lead on that inside. We're back to 3 wide. Gridlock.
All reliable.
Oh my goodness.
Going to the front.
And this right here is quintessential Daytona. I mean, just all the shuffling, the pack racing, the craziness, the chaos. It's all here right now. And you can see 3 wide once again for the lead. That high side with the momentum advantage is Huffman with Plash. And they're still going to be gridlocked now as they come down the backstretch, Jacob.
Let's see how they make this work. And you're right. It is gridlock down the back straightaway for most of the field, if not all of the field. But so far, they're all good. 3 wide, just 4 or 5 rows deep. Plash gets a little wiggly up on the outside of the racetrack, but he's doing okay. As they make their way off turn 4, Malillo with the advantage, but here comes Travis with the run up the middle.
It is crazy how much those cars unload off of turn number 4. Every time they come off of 4, somebody in the middle of the pack is sideways, but they hold on to it. You see Huffman, he's really putting it on the door of of Moonhead, trying to get a little bit of a side draft, trying to keep that car in the middle at bay. I think the top side's going to have a little bit of momentum coming off of 2, but we'll have to see.
3 weeks later, it's still duct tape numbers for the 01 of Travis Brown, and he's still up here trying to do the best he can. We were right on board with McCandless. In the middle, 3 wide. Right now, second in that middle, trying to push the 01 to the front. But Malillo is calm, cool, and collected down there on the bottom with help from the 77 to drive through.
And really, as the sun's gone down and the lights have hit the speedway, I mean, we're starting to see some of the most aggressive driving so far that we've seen all day. I mean, Blake McCandless was basically inside at the back of Moonhead there. I mean, just really aggressive bumping right now all around this racetrack.
Now, Vargas, is that because now that the lights come on, the track has a little more grip, so drivers are more confident? Or is it just because, well, heck with it, it's late in the race, we got to go?
I was going to say, I think it's a bit of a mix of the both. The temperatures are down, the grip is up, everybody feels comfortable with where they're at. Nobody's really kind of getting too dicey. Yeah, you see a little bit of bounciness here and there, but nobody's, as Malillo squeezes the third lane, my goodness. But then it also, as you mentioned, this is the second race. A lot of these guys who are up here right now, their first race went horrible.
Oh my gosh.
What a save.
They're good.
Travis got left in the middle lane. Champagne jumps down to help. I can't believe they saved that. That should not have been a save.
That should have been our first caution of the race. Instead, we stay green. 9 laps are complete. We have made it further in this race than we did in the last one. We'll see how much further they go on, because they have not been pulling any punches here in these opening 9.5 laps.
Yeah, they are definitely not calm, cool, and collected here in this lead pack, just trying to do anything and getting a few DW reactions out of the 3 of us here. But still, I'm really surprised that this high lane has kept intact with only the 2 cars. You can see Jordan Worth now going to opt to go to the high lane and try to get that momentum back up. Still, again, just a pack of 3 lanes, 3 wide. Malillo having the advantage out of turn 2.
And up bottom, so consistent, even though we saw the middle and the top work a lot throughout the day. It's that bottom that is so reliable for these guys. They're going to take advantage of it right now, even though the outside has it rolling. Huffman is clear of Malillo and barely clear of Travis. He drops to the bottom, and Landon Huffman led the last lap. He's going to lead this one. He's clear for the lead.
Well, and you mentioned that bottom side. The bottom side, you mentioned, it's most consistent. It's the safest place. And when something happens, you have an escape route. Oh, and they're squeezing. Joey Stone shoved Jordan Worth into the outside wall. That could have been disaster.
How about Champagne squeezing into second? Oh, and man, Huffman gave him the chrome horn. Moved him up the hill, but he's able to save it. Now Joey jumps to the outside 3 wide. He wants to lead the top.
And again, Champagne here in the middle lane. Definitely don't sleep on him. He swept Daytona and first time around, and once again he is showing that he has speed with going in that middle lane. Joey Stone gonna fall back, doesn't have any help whatsoever. Now we're gonna see
pit stops. Travis, Frisch, Huffman, McCandless. Oh, Frisch is going to do it again. He missed it again. And then Huffman gets turned. That's teammates.
McCandless got into the back of Huffman.
The wheels have come off the bus at Huffman Racing. Oh, my goodness.
That could not have gone any worse for that group of cars because that was such a small group. There was only about 5 or 6 cars there with those cars all basically wrecking. I think only about 2 were going to come out really as they hoped. So, chaos.
Oh, everybody
More cars
now.
pitting this time. Here we go. And this is going to be about the rest of the field as they make their way off turn 4. Here we go.
Oh!
Going stays out. This ain't going to work.
Wrecked.
There is no way.
Cody H.
Gator missed it. Gator missed it. He hit the cone.
Gator.
Rusty whiffed on it.
Wow.
Other
They're
than
all
that,
over
everybody's
the
okay. No black flag for the 14 somehow. And Rusty
kidding.
didn't get a black flag, even though he missed pit road by 1.5 miles. Oh, and Gator missed his stall.
Oh, so it doesn't even matter.
Gator, well, yeah, so he's got to come in again anyway. That's his penalty. Cody H Gaming, he missed his box. He's going to have to pit again. Everybody else is okay.
And that's a tough break for Cody there after such a strong finish in race number 1. He's going to have an uphill battle from here. But now you can
Here
see
come
your
our
lead
leaders
pack.
now. Yep.
Overall, though, that second pack, that big group that came on a pit road, yeah, they had 2 casualties, but honestly, for how big that pack is, that's not going to hurt them. That couldn't have gone much better, if you ask me.
Problem, Landon Huffman lost the draft.
Oh.
And you've got guys here. You've got Davey Davis, Chase Cabrey, Fly Guy, Gabe Wood, and Cisco that have yet to make their stops. Everybody else has pitted at this point, as now Gator and Cody come onto pit road. Remember, they missed their box the first time around.
Really interesting out of a lot of these guys, just as they try to get back into this pack formation and get grouped up together, you see a lot of them just kind of in these little duos, really reminiscent of tandems going on.
We heard some drivers, at least I heard some drivers say in practice that may be a viable option here of tandeming up and teaming together.
Well, and that goes back to what I said in that first race. It's about keeping that air bubble. You see Sean Butler shoving that car in front of him, keeping him at bay. I mean, and that's the big thing. Harry Tiller, he's holding a very steady line. Sean Butler is keeping the air bubble there. Now you see this big run from Blake McCandless, but he's going to actually stay in line.
Yeah, those are teammates, so not surprised that they stayed in line here necessarily. And the biggest issue is the fact that Landon Huffman, he is way far behind. He is in 30th place.
Ooh.
Right now, after the contact with McCandless, some 54 seconds behind the race leader, and he is actually in danger of going a lap down to Davey Davis here within these next couple of laps.
And this pack right here of Harry Tiller, Sean Butler, these guys, I mean, they are just absolutely flying around the racetrack right now, topping out about 197. And I mean, compared to
Which
even
tells
earlier
me
today, yeah.
They're not saving.
No, not at all. No saving going on here. I mean, again, compared to earlier today in practice, I mean, big packs, they were getting up around 192, 193. So as, you know, as the temps get cooler, you know, these cars are starting to get more grip and just faster around this racetrack. And I mean, I feel like if they get organized, get single file, you know, it's not going to be any cars that are faster than this group right here.
But does that mean then that these guys can't make it to the end and they're just going to run it out? Because remember, we saw a couple of guys go a little more than 30 laps. Now, that was with caution laps in there. Or just shy of 30. Oh, my God, Cisco.
Oh.
Jesus.
Almost just took out Harry.
He tried. He tried to get a caution right there. Gabe Wood took the smart approach and went to the high side. Here comes McCandless. And Malillo to the outside, looking for the, well, not the lead, P4.
Well, and the thing is here, we talked about it earlier, these guys, a lot of these guys in this lead pack here, I guess we can call it the lead pack because they're going to cycle out to being the leaders, but these guys at the front, they had a horrible first race. A lot of these guys crashed. Now they have the track position, so it's honestly a game of egos. That's what I consider it. Who's going to try and lead this pack? You see how much they're sliding around, trying to jostle for positions. They don't care that they're battling for fourth relatively, but they just want to be at the front.
Again, this is your lead pack once Davey Davis, Chase Cabry, and Fly Guy come on to pit road. They are currently your top 3 on the racetrack, some 12 seconds ahead of this pack that you see on your screen. Fourth on back here in the frame. Harry Tiller leading the charge, but he now has some company.
You can see starting to get back to where we were before green flag pit stops, just being super aggressive. 3 wide for 5th on back right now, and that outside trying to get its momentum together. Blake McCandless, Justin Melillo, the middle line. Going to try to get that air off the bottom line. Going to retain that 3 wide formation as they come across the line.
Oh boy, we got a lap car coming. And that lap car is Rawgator here. He's off the pace. Remember, he missed his box after overshooting pit road, had to pit a second time, and he took 4 tires on his stop. Really, everybody took fuel only with the exception of Frisch, Wes Graham, Huffman, and Rawgator. Everybody else deciding to take fuel only. Still 3 wide here. This is 3rd on back, and when they hit the stripe this time by, we will be halfway.
These guys, they could smell it. They could smell the lead. They know that those guys have to pit. But the problem is they're so organized. It is gridlock up at the front here. There's no way to make moves. So everybody's just jostling right now. Everybody's just kind of getting into their position, kind of riding around. It's very organized, which is one of the crazier things compared to Daytona 08, where it's all bumpy and rough and hard to hold a line. You see a lot of these guys, they get into a line and they stay there. They're doing a really good job keeping that momentum up, especially in the top side line.
Inside 20 to go. Davey Davis, Chase Cabry, and Fly Guy still have yet to pit. They are 10 seconds in front of this snarling pack that has already made their pit stops. And we'll see if they catch those guys before they decide to come on to pit road. Justin gets a little yiggly there in the middle, but he keeps it straight. 19 to go.
Yeah, and looking at this, as of right now, the lead pack of these 3 of Davey Davis, Chase Cabry, and Fly Guy who have yet to pit. I mean, they have gotten single filed out. They were being a little more aggressive earlier by attempting, double file formation, but they are starting to get organized, get in line, and their speeds are lagging back. So I'd say with the lead they have at the moment, just trying to, maybe just lag back, save a little bit of fuel while they still can. Not really sure when these guys are going to plan to come to pit road, though.
We'll have to see, but right now this lead pack, I think, is as close to wrecking as they've been all night here. These guys in the middle, I heard Cosman come over the radio and say, I'm starting to lose the handle on this thing. It is not fun being in the middle as you see them all wash up there.
I was going to say, it's some of these guys like Melillo stuck in the middle. They're really on edge right now. Lots of air being tossed around on these race cars. And that's just the product of Daytona racing. You're stuck in this tight pack, and how narrow it is. There's nowhere to hide.
Three wide again up here at the front. Again, this is for 4th until those 3 guys decide to pit. Harry Tiller leading the charge on the bottom. McCandless in the middle. Champagne up top. 2 of those 3 have already gone to victory lane this season. Harry, he hasn't gone to victory lane since season 3, Iowa.
Yeah, and I mean, more over the radio about holding the lines, but Ryan, being in these cars at such a energy-based racetrack, a momentum-based racetrack, how hard is it for these guys that are in the middle line to not wash up into this high line when all that momentum's carrying you higher into the corner?
Well, I mean, if you look at a guy like, I'm going to reference him again, Justin Melillo, he has to focus on several jobs, right? He has to push the car in front. He has to keep that buffer between him and Blake McCandless so that A, he doesn't hit him, but also B, he continues to push him forward. Then he has to worry about the guy behind him. I believe that's Cosmin Ionescu right behind him. He has to worry that he doesn't get knocked out of the line behind him. Then he has two cars, one to his outside, one to his inside. He has to worry about several different things all happening at once. It is so much to focus on. It's so much to worry about. You look at Justin, he is one of the smoothest drivers I've raced against at a super speedway. And even he is having a tough time holding it straight.
Just heard oh no, but everybody's all good. Everybody's up to speed. Only scaring me a little bit now, guys. Come on.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Don't do that to me.
Yeah, it was Cody over the radio. He's fallen out of line now. He was complaining about the pushes from Landon Huffman. He felt that the rear tires were going to get lifted off the ground from how hard Landon was pushing him. So he's going to opt to fall out of line here and come as the caboose of this little train right now. And these three, I mean, they're coming up on lap 25, 26, and especially because we haven't had a caution yet. I mean, how much longer do you think these guys can go as flying guys?
Whoa.
Once again,
These guys
Huffman.
cannot take the push.
Yeah, Huffman was all over Fly Guy there and bent him out of shape. I just don't know how much fuel these guys have left that they can even attempt running in this pack.
Well, if they can make it this far, that tells me that other pack can make it to the end based off of how far these guys have made it, and they really haven't been saving. Here's that lead pack again. 3 wide, 4 rows deep, almost 5 rows deep.
Going got the wall.
Going. He was so sideways. But that's that product of getting sucked up into the wall. You saw how hard he had to jerk it off the wall. He kept it straight, thank goodness. But it is so hard to keep control of these cars, and the way that this old style setup is, it's so easy to lose it. And back on this strategy here with your leaders, they have to pit. There's no way. I just don't understand it necessarily, just because they're just losing so much time. They are losing so much time being in such a small group. These leaders you mentioned, they're hitting 197. Gabe Wood comes on a pit road and almost spins it.
Now, Gabe had yet to stop, so that's why he's on pit road. But here's the problem.
Oh, Joey
that
got
second
the wall
pack.
Too.
Joey hits the wall. Everybody's still good. The leader is pitting. Davey Davis is pitting this time by. I was going to say, these leaders are only 4 seconds back. All 3 of them. Davey Davis, Fly Guy, and Chase Cabry pitting this time. They could not make it the full way. They could only make it 28 laps when they hit pit lane. And this will put Harry Tiller out in front of the field, coming to 12 laps to go. We'll see if they make it.
And inevitably now, this fight for 4th has become the fight for the lead. Blake McCandless with Harry Tiller. Those two have been leading these lines the entire time. Justin Champagne trying to hold his own up on the outside, but support starting to die out down the backstretch here at Daytona. And now the real question becomes, can this main pack stretch their fuel like that first pack that we saw?
Coming to 11 to go. Fuel has to be a lingering question. Realistically?
Oh, Justin.
Oh.
Travis.
They're going to need one of those.
Yeah.
Realistically, they're going to need that to happen a couple more times because,
Travis.
Look, the guys that just pitted made it 28 laps. Harry Tiller pitted 17 laps ago, as did much of this lead pack. They are 11 laps away from the finish, so they are going to hit 28 at the checkered flag. So they are going to be close on fuel. Those at the front of the pack going to burn a little bit more because they're leading the charge around. A caution would be big, but remember, overtime could throw that out the window as far as whether or not you could make it on fuel or not. And I would think if a caution were to come out, Melillo makes contact with Plash. I would think if a caution comes out, Vargas, maybe you disagree, that I would come to pit road no matter what and take fuel just because it's Daytona. And, you know, track position matters, but track position doesn't matter.
Look, you can never underestimate the power of clutch and coast. If a yellow comes out and I'm one of those guys in the top 4 or 5, I'm staying out. I've made my bed. This is my strategy, and I'm sticking to it. Now, if I'm those guys like Joey Stone, David Schildhouse, Gabe Wood, who are just kind of chilling back there at the tail of this lead draft, why not? You know what I mean? Make sure that you're to the good, because if you're not, you're going to be in deep trouble.
You see this lead pack has calmed down a little bit now. They're only 2 wide packed together. But they did it because of the lap traffic in front. Look, that's Gabe Wood that they're going to catch here. And there's more on the horizon. You've got Cody H Gaming, Michael P. Frisch, Landon Huffman, as well as Fly Guy and Davey Davis. That's why they settled down.
Trying to navigate.
Oh, boy.
Travis
on the apron. This ain't going to work. There goes Frisch.
There we go.
Into Travis.
Around.
2 cars. Caution's out.
Harry Tiller's around. There's the big one.
More trouble. Davin,
Champagne.
Malillo,
Wow.
Tiller, Cosman, Plashcott in it. More trouble again. This is Champagne up against the wall. And Fly Guy.
Gabe Wood comes to a stop.
The
Lots of
track
cars.
is littered. Michael P. Frisch, the first car sideways. And it was just 5 wide, I think, with these lap cars. And he made contact with his teammate and Harry Tiller. And that set it all off.
Yeah, we'll get your replay here in just 1 second, but I mean, that's the wreck that we were all waiting for. Now that completely changes the landscape of this race. You're going to have that opportunity to come down the pit road, get fuel, and just race to the end. We're going to see what happens here. I think it was contact between Harry and Frisch that sent Frisch around, and then DT, once they started checking up, DT has gotten to the back of Harry and sent him around into the rest of the pack that was going to make it through.
We need to go on board with David Schildhouse. He just squeezed his way through this incident. But you see right here, there's contact between Frisch and Tiller, and then Tiller gets hooked by Davin right into the pack. Oh, watch Schildhouse right here. He goes to the bottom, squeezes through, a little bit of contact. Clean.
Now, I think this all started, if you watch Frisch again, in fact, we could watch it here from this helicopter cam again. If you watch where Frisch is at, he's between a rock and a hard place, right? Yep. He's got Huffman right in front. He just gets on his back bumper, has to lift just an inch, and that gets Tiller into his back bumper, and that turns him sideways. They just got stacked too close together at too awkward of an angle, but I think Frisch was going to get turned there no matter what. We ride on board with Schildhouse.
You see the incident develop in front of him. He starts backing it down, but he sees a gap, slows it down. They're wrecking. There's the hole, the C's part.
Oh, my.
Keep your foot
Champagne.
in it.
There's Champagne up front of the track. Oh, and he collects another car. There's a whole other car involved that we didn't even see.
Yeah, it was Fly Guy that he got.
Oh.
In the 773.
And
one more angle. This was the live shot.
That's just the product of lap cars merging in with the lead group. None of these leaders really want to work with these lap cars. They have a race of their own to worry about. And you see
Champagne had it missed. Just trying to drift it. Oh, no.
Jordan Worth takes it to the grass to miss. I mean, that was
at the bottom.
Yeah, that was at least, what was it, 18 cars probably? I mean, that was a majority of your field.
Definitely the big one.
I guess the question now for some of these guys that were involved in that wreck, you have a fast repair in your pocket, but do you expect another caution now that everybody's grouped back up together so late in this race? I mean, I feel like you almost need to hold on to that fast repair.
Here's the list of guys that have used their fast repair here. Justin Champagne, Harry Tiller, drive-through, Fly Guy. End of list. We're going to tear some ish up.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. We talk about guys who are good on fuel. I'm going to go back to our guy, David Schildhouse, who just squeezed his way through that incident. He was at the back of that lead pack the entire time. I guarantee you he was not wide open that entire run. I guarantee you he was riding in there, just saving fuel, just making sure he bided his time so that when the wreck happened, which it did, he'd make it through and have the track position. And sure enough, he now finds himself in the 7th position? 5th position?
So some folks here did pit your top 11, 12, stayed out here. Butler, McCandless, Goen, Worth, Shieldhouse, LaPrade, Cadell, Stone, Brown, Frozen Toes, West Graham, Chase, Cabry. Everybody else pitted under this caution flag. They're going to choose here, coming off the corner. And a lot of guys choosing the top. First one to the bottom, Jordan Worth in the 37.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. That top side has the most momentum. If we were at Bumpy Daytona, you remember that race, a lot of guys chose that lane, but that was also just because of the same thing here, momentum. If you're able to have a good group of cars with you, your lane is going to have the runs. That inside lane, you are the victim of everybody's mistakes on that outside. So it looks like, what was going on there? A little bit of a stack up potentially?
Oh, what the? I think Landon had to check up. Oh, he spun because they were checking up for the cone.
Oh, no.
And he got into the grass, tried to turn around, and he spun. Remember, the grass is slicker now.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he spun out. It hit the cone, so he has to start at the tail end. And a rough race for Landon Huffman here. He missed the first race, barely. And now in the second one here, he spins on pit road, gets trapped a lap down. He is on the lead lap now, but he's got to start tail end. We have 5 laps to settle. Race 2 of the Ben Craziest Craziness 200. Green flag.
Big jump on the outside from Sean Butler with Blake McCandless glued to the back end of that number 32 as they go into turn number 1, starting to fan out just a little bit. You can see them thinking about 3 wide, deeper into the pack. Joey Stone and Wes Graham are 2 that are trying to kickstart that outside lane.
Here they come off 2. McCandless peeks out. So does Worth. They'll go 3 wide for the lead. Here comes Shieldhouse up the middle, and there goes McCandless. Turned by Sean. Single car spin. We stay green. Hard hit to the wall for the 71. More trouble. Rusty's in it. Davey Davis. Fly Guy. Gabe Wood. Frisch. And the caution's out. Cisco comes to a stop. I think he got in it as well. And that means we are going to overtime.
I think that was just your classic. Everybody sees a wreck. Everybody's starting to try and file back into a group, and just a little bit of miscommunication and a little bit of misjudgment by some of these guys. But we're going to have to see the replay here. But, man.
Oh, you know what it was? You know what it was? It was Sean coming back up the racetrack.
Oh, no.
Watch here. Sean comes down. He's in the grass. He comes back up the racetrack, and bam.
Quick.
Into Davey Davis, and it's on. Wow.
Oh, man. Look at Case. Look at Case drifting through there. What a move by him. He took it to the grass, was sideways through there, looking like Travis Pastrana in the latest Gymkhana video.
Malolo in that as well.
Big hit from McCandless here, right to the inside wall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a big hit.
So hard sliding through the grass right
Rusty,
there. There goes Case.
Laster. Heck yeah.
That was awesome. I would love to see that view. I mean, he saw everything happen, and he just took it to the grass.
Yeah,
I love
X
that.
Games mode.
Yep, this is on board with, I assume, Case.
Cisco. Oh,
no, that's Cosman. This
Cosman,
is
yeah.
Cisco.
here's Cisco.
All right, very cool. And he's just going to come to a dead stop.
I would too.
Yeah, I mean, they all wrecked in front of him. He had no other option. I mean, that was the right
he missed
move.
it.
Yeah.
One more angle.
Oh, here we go.
On board with
Oh
Case.
boy. Someone
Duke
called the
boys
team
at it
Rick
again.
boys.
Oh, man, it's so far ahead of him, but it all comes at you so fast. There they go. They start wrecking. Case takes to the apron, thinking he has avoided it. He takes it all the way to the grass. That was awesome.
I'm paging Team Rick on that one, the team of the Drifters, because that was quite a showcase.
That was awesome. One thing I'll mention too, though, a lot of those cars in that incident, yeah, you had a couple cars slam the outside wall, but these cars are tanks. They could take big hits. I don't think too many guys are going to take their quick repairs there.
1 lap to green. Field is choosing right now. Sean Butler, black flag. Davin is spun. Hold on. Now Case has crashed into Cisco. It is pandemonium on the back straightaway.
Oh, everyone's getting EOL penalties now.
Brayton Laster about wrecked. He's okay. DT gets an EOL. How hard is it, guys? I guess they haven't had to do it a lot tonight, so all right.
Ben's gonna be like Oprah right now, handing out those ELLs. My goodness. Holy cow.
Here we go. Cabry and Jordan Worth on the front row. Jordan Worth, your race leader. We're going to have a natural, cage-free, non-GMO, green-white checker finish here at Daytona. 2 laps to settle it in the scheduled distance. We wreck again, and we go to overtime. We have 3 attempts at that. Green flag, 2 laps to go, and a great launch for Jordan Worth.
Already starting to fan out there. You saw everybody just immediately glued to the bottom lane there. Chase Cabry leading that surge on the inside. 3 wide. That's back further into the field still. Travis Brown with help from
There's
Rhino.
no way. There's no way they make it back, Caleb.
Yeah, there's still way too many cars in this race for him to make it back, I think.
Oh, Frozen gets a little sideways. 3 wide for the lead. Little contact between Huffman and Rawgator. They're good. Coming to the white flag. If they make the white flag, this race is official.
Shieldhouse with a massive run to the top side. Cabry goes to the middle. He feels like that is his best option. They're 3 wide, 3 by 3 all the way through the pack.
Wow, we might make it.
We're gonna
Ben's
see
good on the button.
They got it.
They got it. 1 to go. We're committed. Shieldhouse leads that lap. Who's going to lead the last one here from Daytona? Cabry pokes his nose out in front. Shieldhouse, your leader at the line. They're back in turn 1. Brayton Laster's in the wall, single car.
Reminiscent of 2012 fall Talladega here with how packed in everybody is. Ben comes over the radio, tells everybody good luck for good reason because they're still 3 wide gridlocked here at the front.
Here we go. Turn 3, last lap. Shieldhouse out in front. Keep an eye on Brian LaPrade in the bottom of that one. First start of the season. He may take the 1 to P1 on the bottom. They're still 3 wide. He has the advantage. Here they come off the corner. Does anybody go to the apron? Arrow, maybe too late. Brian LaPrade in his first start back wins at Daytona. And the whole field wrecks behind a terrible crash up into the catch fence.
Oh, no.
That's the huge one, and Breyer is crowd surfing over some race cars.
That was the whole field. The whole field just wrecked coming to the checkered flag. Breyer LaPrade. We're going to have to get a replay of that. I thought Shieldhouse was going to have the run on the top side, but it just all stacked up. They had nowhere to go.
How commendable is it that these guys survived until the trial of the finish there? I mean, Jacob and I tried to call it there and say that they weren't going to make it back, but by God, they did. And you see Breyer just takes a huge flip into the catch fence there.
2015, if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, Joey Coulter vibes right there.
I don't think I've seen a wreck that big. That is huge.
No.
Everybody. That is the whole...
It's been a while.
Look at...
It's also been a while that we've had that many cars running at the end.
Cadell tried to take it to the grass. I mean, every car, every single car had contact in that. That is unbelievable. I mean, watch Cadell. Cadell here, way further back. He tries to pull a Hail Mary. He takes it all the way to the grass. Doesn't work out, obviously. Huffman's shoving another car to the grass. And then right there, they stack up in the middle. Shieldhouse gets turned by Cabry, and that's what sends him into LaPrade, but it doesn't matter. LaPrade gets the win.
Let's go to our victory lane, our interviews presented by that dude named Dale, Classic NASCAR Gaming, done right. Breyer LaPrade, I know last night was a rough night. You come back with your first start this season, and you're headed to victory lane. How about it?
Yeah, that was pretty fun. That hit there was pretty painful, though. That was a pretty vicious hit. So, yeah, I don't know. We're taking a ride through the infield right now, trying to get to the infield care center, and we're going to see what's going on. But, yeah, that was fun. We got a second in the first race and a first in this one, so that's a pretty good start to my first race of the season. So, see if we can, I don't know, maybe make a crazy comeback for the end of the season.
Well, you had a shot at the championship a season ago. Wouldn't rule it out here. Just, only 3 races into the season. Let's talk about that final restart, though. Second on the inside line. How in the world did you get into that position to have a shot to win this race?
Chase literally just opened the door for me, and I just kept my foot in, and momentum rolled with me. And just driving it into turn 1 on the last lap, but just how much momentum I had and almost clearing them off at 2, I figured I was going to have a shot. was gonna be close, and then I don't know what happened, but coming out of 4, I just had a huge run. So, like I said, just kept my foot in it and didn't try and make any crazy moves to kill the speed, and just held the wheel straight and held on for dear life. And well, we tried, but like I said, we're taking a trip to the infield care center, and we'll see how it goes.
Paid the price, even though he goes to victory lane. Well, Briar, congratulations on the race win. We will see you in 2 weeks. Well, that's what I thought. Now I'm being told to vamp a little bit. No, okay, never mind. Okay, cool. Briar, thanks for being here. We'll see you in 2 weeks from Martinsville. Happy holidays.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys.
That's Briar LaPrade, your race winner tonight. Let's talk with second place, David Schildhouse. And Vargas, we'll give old 20 car to you.
Man, David, you almost had it. I thought you had the run. Talk me through that last lap there. That was insane.
That was a lot of fun, Ryan. That was a lot of fun. It was good to get the track position. I think you guys saw me get through that wreck, which was cool, but I knew we had a good shot at it. Was working with Briar all night, and I knew that running the top was probably the way. And Travis did a great job of pushing me, so shout out to Travis for excellent pushes. I think we just ran out of steam a little bit there on the last lap, and the bottom was really strong, so Briar was able to get it. But it's such a relief to finally get a finish in one of these races. I mean, we ran out of gas in the first one, which sucked. Got wrecked on the last lap last week by Sean Butler, who's a menace to society. So to finally bring the number 20 Alpha Prime car home with a good finish feels really good. It's been a rough stretch lately, so I'm happy with that.
Well, David, congratulations on a heck of a race. That was a fun one to watch. We thought you had a good run there, but at the end of the day, I'm sure you take a P2 and be more than happy with that. So congrats on a good run, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Ryan. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely.
That's David Schildhouse, your P2 finisher tonight here from Daytona. So, man, what a race. What a finish. 2 great races tonight. And if you're thinking about, well, I want to see more plate tracks, there's one left, and you got to see it in 3 weeks. But first, gentlemen, wild night from Daytona.
Yeah, that was, you got a little bit of everything there. That first race, we had plenty of fuel strategy, and it came down to it at the end there. And then, what a wild way to end that second one off.
I'm still in shock. I don't think I've ever seen one of these races come down to so many cars still in the running there. I mean, every one of these cars in this graphic here, we're still in the lead pack, by the way. Like, we're still looking at cars that finished with the leaders, and that's just absolutely unfathomable to me. The racing all night was fantastic. You saw 3x3 gridlock racing. I don't think you could ask for much more out of an ARCA race at a super speedway.
All right. Well, obviously we're off next week for the holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Kwanzaa, Happy New Year. We see you in a year, more like 2 weeks. But next year, 2023, is when we're back, January 4th from Martinsville in 2 80-lap races. Should be a lot of fun from the paperclip in 2 weeks' time. The rest of your schedule, Talladega, the All-Star race at Charlotte, Watkins Glen, North Wilkesboro, and Atlanta to end the season in February. The stuff coming up on FTF.gg, I don't know because Zach didn't tell me, but I know this. Because of the announcement today with the thing, and you can't do the thing on the thing anymore, FTF is putting together the FTF Rectangle 500 from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Sign-ups, I believe, go out tomorrow. Something like that. Check Justin Melillo's Twitter for more information, or the FTF Discord. And we will see you then for that next week. Qualifying will be Tuesday, December 27th, starting at 7 o'clock, followed by Bump Day the next night at 8, and then the Rectangle 500 Friday, December 30th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Other events coming up, Legends of the Future, that's Friday. That's tomorrow. No, I'm reading this wrong. They're off tomorrow. Legends of the Future is back, though, next week from Rockingham. Oh my gosh, so many races. Okay. And then Tuesday, January 3rd, we start the All-In 650. Good grief. At Las Vegas. Core then is at Martinsville. And then Legends of the Future's back at Darlington. We're busy. For it being the off season, we are very, very busy. But for Zach Johnson, our producer, Eric Messer taking photos for social media. For Ryan Vargas, Caleb Hoffman, I'm Jacob Pitts. Thank you so much for watching. We get to go take a look at the clown reel. So we'll go over to DT for that. Or not. I guess we're just not going to do that this week. Thanks, Zach. See ya.